Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WW Reef. I'm your host, Reef, with the man, the Sith, the legend, Darth Syro. We are visionaries. We are revolutionaries. We are the World Wrestling Podcast. How you doing, Syro?
What's going on, Reef? I thought for a second when you did that, before you did the full intro, that I was going to get cut out of this thing when it was the WW Reef. I like that a lot. I'm doing really good. By the way, I love that we did that instant reaction the other day. I got some good feedback. I'd love to hear more. If we want to do more of those instant reactions, we like to do it. But maybe we can see some feedback from our audience. Let us know.
Oh,
Do
yeah,
you
ladies
guys
and
like
gentlemen,
us doing that kind of stuff?
if you guys didn't listen to it yet, go ahead and check it out on YouTube. I'm sorry, not on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We did an instant reaction, and it's on our Twitter as well. You can go view it from there. There's a link to it there. Instant reaction on seemingly the reunion of the OG Bloodline. We got them back, boys. So definitely, so we're gonna cover some of that today. A lot has happened over the last weekend of wrestling. So we had Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. We had a tag team title switch hands. We have a triple threat match to come for the U.S. title. We have some more updates, if you will, on some very deep feuds going on between friends turned enemies. So we're gonna get into a whole lot today. Timmy, as always, man, I'd love for you to get us started, brother. Go ahead and kick us off with a topic.
All right, there's no topic that could be bigger than this topic, and I need you. I've been giving my opinion for the last few weeks. I need you to tell me right now, as you see that we've assembled an amazing 3-on-3 match at Crown Jewel. This is going to be Bloodline 2.0 versus OG Bloodline.
Woo!
Roman and the Usos and Solo and his boys. Do they win at Crown Jewel? Does the OG Bloodline win, or does Bloodline 2.0 even have a chance right now?
See. Here's the thing: unless Bloodline 2.0 brings somebody else in, I'm gonna go with no chance. And here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. You have Roman Reigns, who's the clear number one guy out of all of them. And then you have Jey Uso, who some could try to argue Fatu would be like the second best guy wrestler or something like that, but he hasn't done enough to prove that. So Jey Uso, in my opinion, is the clear number two. Then you have Solo and Fatu, and then you have Jimmy, and then you have the Tongans. You just got a lot more talent on the Bloodline 2.0 match. I'm sorry, not the Bloodline 2.0, the OG Bloodline. You have more talent on that side. I don't think the 2.0 has a chance in the hell at Crown Jewel. And let me tell you something, dude. I have a prediction, and I'm interested to see how this goes, to see if I'm right about this. But I think we get a return of a special somebody at Crown Jewel. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman.
That would be
And he's gonna lead the OG Bloodline down the ramp into the ring for that match, and it's going to be an absolute movie. I got OG Bloodline winning this one.
Let me.
Do I
let
like
me
it? No,
use-
because I love Solo. You know how I feel about Solo and the Bloodline 2.0. I think Jay made a mistake, and I talked about this in the instant reaction. I think Jay made a mistake, and he picked the wrong side. I think he should have been working with Solo, but there was so much that happened on Raw that really shifts things as well. Like we saw Sami Zayn at one point in the parking lot talking to Solo, and now that creates somewhat of a rift between Jay and Jimmy. So there's a lot of possible turns this can take.
We have no idea what Sami Zayn is going to do.
Yeah, I have no idea what his involvement is going to be with this. And what's weird to me is that he told Jay that this doesn't involve you anymore. This isn't your business. This is their business, and stay out of it, just to get caught talking to Solo.
You know what? I'll tell you this. That was a risk that was taken, but remember, he could have been standing there and disagreeing with every single thing Solo was saying and letting him know that he's barking up the wrong tree.
So what do you think? What do you think he was saying? What do you think he was saying? Do you think that's what was happening?
I think he might have been telling. I think he's Jay's boy.
It seemed to be friendly. Like that conversation.
I don't know.
Seemed to be very like courteous, and if someone steps to the bloodline the wrong way, disagrees with something Solo's saying or something, he's not calm about that. He's not like, haha, yeah, you got it. Like, nah, you're gonna see some Samoans and Tongans beating your ass after you say something.
Okay, but let me ask you
So
this.
we didn't see that. So I can't imagine Sammy was saying things that Solo didn't like to hear.
When I understand, when I was looking at the Crown Jewel art, the poster, the preview,
Right.
and it showed the Bloodline match, 6-man tag team, and it has on one side Roman and it has the Usos, and on the other side it has the entirety of the Bloodline. It has
Right.
Solo and the Tongans and Jacob. So
Yep.
my question is, who are the 3 of those 4 that are fighting at Crown Jewel? And regardless of who they are, with that 4th man being on the poster, does that mean that Roman needs a 4th man on his side? And perhaps
Paul Heyman.
well, unfortunately, Paul Heyman's not going to be able to do too much physically against the Jacob.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Against one of the Tongans, he could probably take him out. Their ass.
Yeah. He might be. Yeah, he might be able to. At least he could yell really loudly. But what I see happening is Sami Zayn aligning himself to save Jey Uso, absent of an alignment with the OG bloodline, coming in and saying, "I want to help Jey. I want to help Jey." So that these guys don't beat up my boy. So I'm seeing Jey inside of the match be in a very compromising position where he's getting dominated by multiple of the new bloodline members. And then all of a sudden, boom, Sammy comes out and the Saudi crowd goes absolutely wild.
I don't see Sammy aligning with them, especially after everything that's went down and the reason why he didn't want Jey getting involved in the first place as well. I don't see him aligning with the OG bloodline here, but I will say something that's going to be a little interesting to see, right? Because they are outnumbered, and obviously there's other members of the bloodline, in the wrestling industry as a whole, laying around, maybe waiting to be called up to action. I feel like the more likely people to recruit would be the 2.0. They would recruit more before the OG bloodline recruits anymore. But I don't think that they necessarily need a 4. I think they can 3v4 these guys and win. They'll be fine. The Tongans are ass. Combine the Tongans and you still have a team, a wrestler that's less than what Jimmy Uso is.
We're going to have to don't see that. Who can dominate at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, I understand. But what's going to be interesting to me is the dynamic of the OG bloodline. Like, I say OG bloodline wins based off talent, but we don't know if they're gonna mesh well here, bro. If Roman keeps trying to be tribal chief, I don't see Jey falling in line with that. He was telling Jimmy on Raw, like, we're going to be like equal. Like, we're not nobody's lackeys. Like, we're not getting commanded to do shit no more. We're our own men. Like, I was an IC champion holder. You know what I mean? Like, so I just don't know what that dynamic is gonna look like. And there could still be, because there's some unresolved issues, there could still be some of that. And I think that Solo might probably try to get a point to exacerbate that a little bit. Get that kind of rolling, because that's going to be the way that they win. They take advantage of maybe some anger and animosity within that team, within the OG bloodline. So that's what I'm interested to see, is like how that dynamic plays out, really.
Last thing I'll say on Sammy, the Sammy piece is really important. I think that in the same fashion that Jey is going to have a discussion with Roman before that bloodline is fully solidified again. In the same
fashion, SmackDown.
Well, no, but I think a deeper conversation. I think something where it's an agreement that we're now riding together.
No, that's what they're gonna probably do that on SmackDown. There's SmackDown before Crown Jewel.
Okay,
let's see. That they were gonna talk to Roman. That was like announced on Raw. So
okay, let's see how that pans out. So my opinion is that Jey is going to, in the same fashion that Jey and Roman are gonna have to come back together and mend the past. I think the Sammy and Roman have to come back together to mend the past. And we have to see Roman continue to evolve himself into a person who understands what he's done and the people that he's hurt. This is a way for Roman Reigns to get redemption. Rather than being the tribal chief who beats the shit out of everybody, the OTC is a new, evolved,
I don't
much
see it.
more improved tribal chief
He's the same guy.
who's ready to recognize everybody else's talents, which I think is what he's doing, if you recall, with Jimmy when he came back and
Acknowledge him.
Roman came out and acknowledged him. I'm telling you,
No.
we're seeing an evolution in Roman Reigns.
No, I this is where I disagree
I don't know, man. I
with you.
think
As you play people and make people think that he's changing when in reality, like Solo can very easily see and says it all the time, he hasn't changed. He's all out for himself, and that's who he is. He's a selfish guy who's going out for himself. It's the reason he lost his title to Cody at WrestleMania. It's the reason he started fighting his family, even though his family was being placed in a prominent position by their new leader. He is all about himself. And I just don't see this whole redemption arc that you're talking about that he's going to take.
Okay.
I don't see it in him. I don't believe he has it in him. He wants his spot back. That's all he wants. And until he gets it, he'll manipulate every single person and do the exact same thing over again to them. And that's why I just don't want to see Jay or Jimmy fall back into that. And that's why I say Jay made a mistake by aligning with them.
Okay, I'll take the bet. That's a fair bet.
All right, well, listen, there's also more that happened on SmackDown as well. We talked about this, I believe we talked about this last show where LA Knight, we talked about Match 7 preview from last SmackDown last week, and we said this was going to end, I said it was going to end in maybe like a triple threat match, and fast forward, and here we are. So LA Knight goes out to guest referee Match 7, and he ends up BFTing both those guys and then ringing the bell and leaving. And so it ends in like a no contest. Everyone's kind of confused. What the hell is going on? That's a weird way to end a game 7 between two guys that have really fought their ass off over the last few months. Do you think LA Knight made a mistake with how he officiated that? It's now led to a triple threat match for his title.
Before I answer that, I want to give you your flowers.
Go ahead.
So you've earned them. You said very clearly this was going to end in a triple threat for the U.S. title. And at the time, I thought to myself, I don't see that happening. They're building up the Game 7. They're building up the Andrade and the Melo for us to feel like this is going to be one rising above the other. And now, with the horrific job officiating that LA Knight did, I'm becoming less and less of a fan of his actions every single week. He has now shot himself in the foot and granted himself, instead of a 50% chance to walk away with his title after after the title match, he's gonna grant himself only a 33% chance to walk away with the title. I mean, look, from an odds perspective, he's a dumbass. From an odds perspective, LA Knight is an idiot. But you're right, and I think his officiating was pure garbage. And
I was gonna say, can we talk about
flowers.
is he the worst special guest referee of all time?
He is the worst of all time. He literally picked a fight with each other guy. He is the woat. LA Knight is the woat referee.
The woat referee, worst of all time. Guest referee. Yeah, dude, I have to agree with you. I think he made a mistake. He's giving himself too many adversaries, too many enemies, and I think he's better. He's a better wrestler than both of them. I think Melo has the potential to be better. And I think Melo can definitely win this kind of match, especially in a triple threat, dude. I would, if I'm LA Knight, man, I'm worried shitless about what Melo has up his sleeve for a triple threat match. This guy, like we said earlier, bro, he's a very resourceful guy. We said this a couple weeks ago. One of the most resourceful wrestlers in the WWE. And when you got a triple threat match, trust me, being resourceful, that gives you a great advantage.
Sure.
I don't know, man. LA Knight is making a big mistake. I don't want to say I wouldn't go on the same page as you where I say he keeps doing things I don't like.
Sure. My problem.
It's not that I don't like with it. I don't really care that he did this. I just, for him, like as like advice for him, dude, not the smartest thing to put yourself in the ring with two guys who want to rip your head off now. You BFT'd both of them. You made two enemies at once to fight in a triple threat match. Like, you can be confident in yourself, but now you're putting yourself in a triple threat match and you're with your title on the line.
My point exactly.
Silly mistake.
So now when they have that triple threat match, you're going to see, of course, we're going to have the lovely moment where Andrade and Melo beat the shit out of LA Knight in a lariat that lasts 30 seconds.
I don't know that they'll at any point in time they'll do something where they're in tandem fighting LA Knight.
Just for a
I
second.
don't see it because I don't see it, bro. These guys actually hate each other. Like, there's actually like a blood feud between Melo and Andrade. So like I don't really see it happening.
Okay, I just want you to know that in addition to being the worst guest referee of all time, LA Knight actually ended the match declaring himself the winner. So in reality, this was the only match I've ever watched in which the referee won. that in and of itself is resourceful.
Does that not make him the GOAT referee?
Yeah.
You're wrong.
I tell you what, I like that he came out with his vest over the referee shirt, so it was really clear that he wasn't just guest refereeing, but it was still LA Knight, because if he didn't wear his vest, I almost would have forgotten that it was LA Knight out there with his khakis and his boots.
Oh my goodness, man.
LA Knight
is different, man. He's different. I love LA Knight. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, dude. And so we can, I guess, let the fans decide. Is he's one or the other. There's no in between for him at this point. He's either the greatest special guest referee of all time or he's the worst. You guys let us know. He's the only one that we've seen that walked out with a win as the referee, and he also gave us a no contest in a Game 7, a highly anticipated Game 7 too. So like, I don't know. Those are very conflicting things. So you guys settle the debate for us in the comments. Is he the greatest or is he the worst guest referee of all time?
Absolutely. Please do that. And with that, let us talk about the actual greatest of all time being called out by a one Randy Orton to come out and face the Thunder. Well, Triple H was called out by Randy Orton on SmackDown.
Brother.
And he said, listen to me. I know we have history, but I want the cerebral assassin to come out here and tell me I can have Owens at Crown Jewel. And rightfully so, Triple H said, hell no, you're an idiot. And Orton said, well, no, you're protecting him. And of course, as we know, Triple H, the greatest of all time, ladies and gentlemen, told him, you know what? I'm actually protecting you, but if you're so dead set on having that match, you have Owens at Crown Jewel. And we got ourselves a one-on-one blood feud, kind of a nice grudge match at Crown Jewel. The question is, does Randy Orton win? Or does Owens snap and beat the crap out of him at Crown Jewel? What's next?
Brother, let me tell you something. When you said that the greatest of all time was called out by Randy Orton, I almost forgot that he actually did call Triple H to the ring to discuss this. And I really thought you were referencing Kevin Owens, and I almost unplugged my mic, threw it out of the window, and quit the WWE
Not that dumb.
forever.
I'm not that dumb. Thank you.
I'm very relieved. I'm very relieved to know that. There. I was seriously worried. It completely slipped my mind that he did that. That was actually really gangster for him to call him out. I think Randy's one of the few guys that can do that. Call Triple H out to the ring like
Absolutely
that.
Wild.
That's a very ballsy move. But when you've been in the industry for as long as Orton has and been at the top of the game for as long as he has, yeah. My concern for Randy is that Triple H has been in the industry a long time as well. So when Triple H says something like he's protecting Randy, like he sees something in Kevin Owens, and I don't normally listen. I want to say Randy wins. I really want to say Randy wins this. I don't think he does. I think Kevin Owens wins this. I think he's snapped. Remember, I wanted this. The prize fighter is back. He's here. He's gonna be relentless, and it has to start with Randy. He has to show us just how little he cares about anyone in this business. Doesn't see any of them as friends. All of them are targets, and we're gonna see him absolutely snap on Randy Orton. Randy's mad for now, and like he gets in there screaming and huffing and puffing. I don't think he's that mad. I think he's putting on the show a little bit here. I don't think he's that mad.
Well, then you're giving credence to my mastermind theory.
Yeah, I listen. You might be right. You might be right about that. You still jury's still out on that, and you might actually be right about that. I just don't understand. Like, here, my problem with Randy being as mad as he is at Kevin Owens is like I just don't feel like it's like I get it, you guys fought, but like
Okay.
I don't know. I just don't feel like it's valid enough. Like it feels like it's overdone, you know. And so
Randy
I
does
don't.
seem a little angrier than he should be, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Kevin Owens is nowhere to be found, contemplated like he's like in his like Joker mode. I can just imagine Kevin Owens in like a padded room right now, just rocking back and forth, just waiting for that moment to come out and just spaz on anybody he sees, the next people he sees.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm envisioning because like Triple H is like genuinely worried about Randy Orton, dude. So I'm literally envisioning like Kevin Owens is just sitting in his room, just rocking back and forth. TV static on, nothing, no TV show, just some TV static, and he's just staring at the TV static, just rocking back
Do
and
you
forth.
think Owens is capable of defeating Orton? Like, forget all the other stuff that happened.
Well, yeah, I mean
Do you
he's
really think
absolutely
he can beat him?
he's absolutely capable of beating him.
Wow. Is that a hot take? I want our audience to tell me if Reef is having a hot take day, because that's a
Dude,
hot
Kevin
take.
Owens is like that, man. Like we're not gonna pretend
Yeah.
like he's not
Okay.
like that.
Okay. I'm not pretending. Just very awkward to me that we think that the Viper is going to be defeated by the prize fighter. What? I don't know. Okay. Let's wait and see. Here, at Crown Jewel, it'll be a fun match, I guess. Do they have a stipulation?
Not to my knowledge, but if
Okay.
there is gonna be one, it'd be like a street fight kind of no disqualification. But I doubt it. I just feel like because they might on SmackDown. Who knows what they announce on SmackDown if they announce anything for it.
Okay.
I just think that just let them handle this in the ring, regular match. I don't think it needs anything more than that.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't think Randy's mad enough to do this shit, like to go all out on Kevin. I think Kevin's psycho enough to do it, but to me, just let them run it up. Kevin, if anything, might screw himself, lose the match just by DQ and just like literally start smoking him with a chair or something. I just think that he's unhinged. Like the way Triple H spoke about him makes me feel like Kevin Owens is unhinged right now.
Well, Owens is really pissed off, right? Like really pissed. So if you want to see someone join that Bloodline match, it doesn't necessarily have to be another Samoan.
There's no way. There's
I'm
no
just,
way. Kevin
I'm
Owens
just
would be
saying.
the biggest loser ever. Could to be this mad about it and then do the exact same thing, you'd have to be the biggest loser of all time.
No, but he would go on the
2.0 side,
2.0.
Bloodline.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know. That's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. That'd be the corniest thing of all time.
Let's hope he doesn't do it. But I was just throwing out a wild theory.
Yeah, I would lose all respect for him immediately. I would lose all respect for him.
Okay. I've lost a little respect for him in recent time.
Why?
Just because of what's happened.
Just because of fighting Randy? I know you didn't lose
No,
respect for him fighting Cody. You like that, but for
no.
the Randy stuff or for the social media stuff?
I just lost a little respect for him for how he went about the social media stuff, the beat down in the parking lot, da da da. Don't love that stuff.
Yeah, but let's be fair. His mic got cut off on the show. He doesn't get a chance to speak.
Mm-hmm.
The beatdown on Randy in the parking lot. I think this is what makes me feel like he snapped because that is like textbook overreaction,
Sure.
and he was just set the fuck off.
Let's see what
So
happens.
like I think he's psychotic. I think he's a
So
little
Owens wins
now.
at Crown Jewel, is your opinion?
Yeah, I think Owens
Right.
wins or he'll lose by
Right.
disqualification. He'll disqualify himself. Another, I guess, psychopath, you'd say someone that's awoken the monster, if you will. Seth Rollins calls out Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed is in the parking lot, and Seth Rollins decides to take a nice little stroll to the parking lot to meet him up there, and they get into a brawl. Now, Bronson Reed is not just labeled a monster for no reason. He's a freaking monster, dude. Because Seth Rollins planted his face in the hood of a car with his stomp. And Bronson Reed got up and then proceeded to beat the brakes off of Seth. And again, puts him through with a Death Valley driver, puts him through some tables outside. And Seth Rollins looked broken again. My question to you is, we asked this last week, but I want to see, I guess, has anything changed here? Can Seth Rollins topple Big Bronson Reed? Or maybe does he need some help?
Straight.
And I think he can find some help in Braun Strowman if he needs it.
Right out of the gate, we have to recognize that the only way that Braun Strowman, as much as I wanted him to win, beat Big Bronson Reed was with the aid of Seth Rollins. So as far as I'm concerned, if you think that that Braun did a good job and could have nearly toppled Big Bronson Reed, and he couldn't without Seth, I don't think Seth, as I love Seth Rollins, but I don't think he can.
Guy.
I don't think he can topple Big Bronson Reed without something additional because of sheer mass. The amount of man that Bronson Reed is more than Seth
eat
Rollins.
Rollins. He can eat Rollins.
So I see Big Bronson Reed destroying Rollins if Rollins doesn't have a game plan or help. Now there is a thing that remember that he is the architect. He is the visionary. He is the revolutionary. He is Seth freaking Rollins. He can come up with something that could outsmart Big Bronson Reed. But you need this. It's not going to be a toe-to-toe match and Seth Rollins wins. It's going to be something additional, strategic or assisting that Rollins gets to big topple Bronson Reed. I don't think it happens otherwise. What do you think?
So here's my thing. I said this last week, and I'll repeat myself a little bit here, but I think Seth Rollins can win that match. I don't think that's enough. So here's the thing. This is as far as we know right now, it's a regular sanctioned regular match. Straight up. No, there's disqualifications. There's countouts. You got to win by one of those three methods: pin, submission, or countout. Right. So I don't think that Bronson Reed can necessarily. I don't think that Bronson Reed can necessarily beat Seth Rollins one-on-one in a match like that. I think Seth Rollins, architect, better wrestler, former world heavyweight champion, just absolute monster, visionary, revolutionary. He's the guy. And I think he can win that, but I just don't think it's enough. And I think we saw that kind of being like it feels like almost like it's foreshadowed here, right? Because he does the stomp on the hood of the car, and Bronson Reed gets up and attacks him again and gets him Death Valley driver through the tables. So I think that we see a side of Seth Rollins that can be so relentless that he can definitely win this match. But I don't think we see a side of him yet, and I don't know if there is even a side of him that can put Bronson Reed on the shelf, because that's what's going to be necessary to keep him away. You win this match, he's coming right back for you. If you don't put him on the shelf, he's coming right back for you. And we see the kind of punishment he can handle. So, maybe he needs some help, not to win the match, but to put Bronson Reed away. Because he needs to do that. Bronson Reed has an enemy right now in Seth Rollins, and until Seth takes care of that, he's going to have his hands full, and he's not going to get anywhere in this industry.
You know what? I can't disagree with the reasoning. I want Seth Rollins to win.
Right.
But by just Big Bronson Reed, did you see how he put him? He threw him out of a truck. He did an overhead suplex out of the truck. Overhead body drop.
The Death Valley driver.
The Death Valley driver. That was unbelievable.
That was awesome. He's awesome. No, Bronson Reed's given us some of our best moments on Raw over the last few months. He's been working his ass off. He's given us some of the best moments. He's an absolute monster. He's a dog, and I think
so dominant. He's so dominant.
Absolutely. We'll see him in the World Heavyweight Championship hunt very soon.
I would like to see that dominance extend itself. Similarly to how the dominance of Damian Priest, even after losing the match, what dominance? Even after losing the match, he still decimated Judgment Day.
No Finn. Finn didn't come out, right?
No, it was
I don't think,
JD. It was
JD and Carlito. That's weird,
correct.
right? You find that a little weird?
I mean, he's not aligning with Damian, so I don't know what you're talking about.
No, Finn would to attack Damian with them.
Yeah, he didn't.
That's what I'm saying. That's weird, right?
Yeah, I know, but he's not aligning with Damian. Like, think about what's
That
the
would be.
reasoning
I mean,
behind
obviously, that would be weirder if he did that. But the fact that he didn't even show up for them,
Sure.
that's weird to me.
Sure. Finn Balor's been an asshole for years, so no surprise there to the former demon.
Especially because he kind of warned Dom about this, but Dom also asked for nobody to show up.
Yeah, you know what? For once, Dirty Dom actually did something clean.
Not really. He still needed the distraction and shit to do it.
Yeah, but he asked for it. I'm saying he asked for it. That was he
asked for it.
He demonstrated some integrity.
That's integrity. Yeah. Do you think he's a little upset that they did that?
No, I think it was exactly what you were just alluding to. It's more like I asked for it, but like if I need it, obviously, please come in and do the job.
Save me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I don't think Damian Priest was dominant, dude. He wasn't dominant. He lost the match. He lost to Dom, dude.
Okay.
He lost to Dom.
He beat the crap out of 3 guys.
Here's the thing. Damian is close to being El Campeón. Like, he's getting closer just by working, being employed, because he's already in the realm of world champion. He's a former world champion.
But this proves that he's getting closer, does it not?
No,
what he did, beating the crap. He beat the crap out of 3 guys.
It doesn't matter. He lost his match. He took a step back. Okay. You don't lose a match and then get a championship opportunity.
That's fair.
I think that maybe he'll get another chance to try to earn a championship opportunity, but he didn't get closer. Like, he's further. If anything, he lost.
That's fair.
Dom is closer. Dom is closer to a championship opportunity.
I understand. I saw him as dominant. I saw him getting closer to being El Campeón once again by his dominance, but you see it as the match calls it an L, and I understand.
I have no idea what Dom is thinking when he wants to go challenge. I like the ambition, but he's going to try to challenge Gunther. Let someone take the title off of Gunther first. Let's see, maybe someone sneak the title off of him or something, and then you go for it, or find a sneakier way to do it. Dude, Dom will get absolutely decimated by Gunther.
You think Dominic is even going to make a play for the title, like realistically?
That's what this was for. That match was for a play at the title.
I'm saying, do you think he's even going to make a play at it, like even have a chance, like not even a chance?
It would obviously involve, it would need to involve the rest of Judgment Day coming out, but I don't think
that'll be DQ. That's a DQ.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a DQ. It could be like a distraction or something, but I don't think it's enough. It was enough to put Damian Priest away, but I don't think it'd be enough to get Gunther off his game and win. Gunther's just way more locked.
The saddest thing about this situation to me is that we walked away with Dominic Mysterio having a world title.
I don't find that sad. Here's the thing, Dom. I want to see Dom become his own guy and be a better wrestler. I think he's being held back. They don't believe in him. You could tell they don't believe he's a win or anything like that. And because of all the handicapping that they do for him, where they come and they always help him and stuff, it's hard for him to get better. I want to see him move a little bit more on his own and get to that point, because he is a fun wrestler, dude. He's got good tricks up his sleeve. He's got good bag. His father is literally a Hall of Famer. So
does he need Liv?
Every strong man needs a strong woman.
Okay, so he needs the world champion.
But he doesn't need Liv, because I think Dom has proved that he can get any woman he wants.
You know what you just made me envision? Because I asked the Liv question, you made me envision a women's world champion with that white crisp title that she carries, and the world heavyweight champion in Dominic. Imagine if both of them are carrying black and white versions of essentially the same title, and they're sitting at the top of the game. That would solidify them as the power couple of the Judgment Day and the WWE.
If you
So,
think
that's possible. That's an option.
if you think that Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley were mad at them before, if that happens, we might witness murder on live television.
That would be
dude,
amazing, though.
that would have their blood boiling, dude.
You know
To
what,
see
though?
that.
I'm going to now throw my weight behind that happening. I want Dominic to win the World Heavyweight title. Yes, not from Gunther, from someone else, but I want him to win it, and I want him to carry it
Someone's got to
side by
beat Gunther
side.
first, and that's
I understand. I want him to win it and wear it side by side with Liv Morgan wearing the title, and they're standing there with the two titles. That's a good picture right there.
Can you imagine? It's like Damian Priest beats Gunther for the World Heavyweight Champion, and then Dominic Mysterio beats Damian Priest again.
Oh my goodness! He took everything. That Damian goes to nothing. He's reduced to ash. I mean,
I hope they give him like they as like a benefits package for WWE superstars. They get like therapy, like free therapy or something.
That'd
I
be
think
good.
he would
He
need
needs
it.
it.
Yeah, I think Damian would need it after that. 100%, dude.
For sure.
But speaking of our en general, moving on to SmackDown, he went face to face with Cody Rhodes on Friday night. And I gotta say, man, Cody Rhodes has probably the worst mic game in the WWE. Like I hate when he has the microphone. I cannot stand it. And Gunther hit him with a bar, and I'll never forget it because it's quite literally he just pulled the words right out of my head. Like it was perfect. He represented me so well in that ring. My fucking ring general. When he tells Cody Rhodes, he tells him that I just tell people no, and you can't do that because the minute you stop kissing everyone's ass, all the fans, all the higher ups, all Triple H, everybody, the minute you stop kissing all their asses, you no longer have a story. It's over. So if Cody Rhodes wasn't such a fan favorite, wasn't so beloved because of his story and yada yada whatever, would he have? Well, I mean, would he even get any airtime? Like, would he have a story? Would he have a place in the WWE?
I think that if Cody didn't do the mid-card ass kissing that he's done, he would not even have any prominence, any story, or anything whatsoever in the WWE. He would be back to dashing Cody Rhodes. I'll tell you,
Or Stardust.
Gunther absolutely floored him. I mean, the guy tried to get a whoa out of the audience and barely got half the audience to say whoa, and he was begging for it. Gunther literally turned that against him and told him, "You see what you have to do? You see that you have to do to get people to just talk about you, to just say something, to give you some noise, to give some attraction to the spectacle that is mid-card Cody Rhodes." And he tells him, "You don't have a story if you're not that bitch." And I'm sorry, I agree with Gunther. He's the guy who has not given a shit about anybody and has walked in and, like you said, he spent more time with a title around his shoulder or around his waist than he has without. And so Cody Rhodes, not a fan favorite. If there are no Cody crybabies, there is no story. Sorry, Cody, you need to figure out how you're going to bring that Atlanta badassery out, because right now, I'm not seeing him staying in the WWE Undisputed title for too much longer. Sorry.
Dude, my problem with Cody Rhodes, my biggest problem with Cody Rhodes right now too is like, first of all, there was a moment, and this is why I think like he's so stupid on the mic too. He asked Gunther what reason he has for thinking that he's gonna walk away or he's gonna become the crown jewel champ, right? And Gunther answers, and then he poses the question back to Cody, and Cody's like, "That's the stupidest question I ever heard." Like, what the hell? You just asked the same question to Gunther, you fucking prick, dude. I hate him. And like my whole like thing with Cody to me is like he's Gunther said it best, bro. He's always gotta like create this sympathy card for him. It's he's putting his dog down, so he brings his dog out for his match. I think it was what SummerSlam. Then he does the whole his story for his dad, and he has us crying over his mom, and now it's his daughter. And it's like, dude, how many more family members do you have to keep bringing into your story to pull this sympathy card? It's like you're gonna run out of family members, and that's when you're gonna lose all your allure immediately. Like once we stop caring, bro, it's like it's ridiculous. It's just wrestling. I'm gonna do this for my daughter. Like, yeah, all right, bro, you're a dad. So are like all these other guys. Shut the fuck up. What are we talking about, bro?
Before our audience goes berserk, Pharaoh is not getting put down. Cody just took him off the road because he's getting old. So just so our audience
My bad.
doesn't flip their lids and go on the internet.
By the way, if you don't remember, we weren't doing the podcast yet, but if you don't remember, we had a conversation. I said when he brought his dog out, I wanted like attitude, not even the attitude era Raw, where we got the Bloodline backstage with his dog doing the honors for him.
Out of bounds. The whole Pharaoh thing is an out of bounds thing that even happened in 2024 WWE. So, yeah, Cody Rhodes, you got to figure something out. You have no story, and I think Gunther's going to destroy him. But for a Goldberg interruption at Crown Jewel. I don't need to say too much more about that. That's what I think is going to happen. And
Goldberg's still under contract, right?
Absolutely. He's with the WWE. We saw him on TV the other week. He jumped in. He was there. He was in the ring. So if you're in the ring, you're fair game to me.
It was that bad part.
And a few weeks ago. And so I think that Crown Jewel is kind of picking up to be quite a show. And I think we're going to see a lot of fallout regarding the Bloodline. With that being said, we don't know what direction the Bloodline's going to go. Are we going to have two coexisting Bloodlines, OG and 2.0? Are we going to have a Bloodline that is consolidated? Or is one of those two just going to die off? I don't know, but I would love our listeners to chime in. Let us know what's going to happen in the future. What's next for the Bloodline? We know how amazing the Bloodline's history has been when Roman Reigns was running the show and when Solo Sikoa was running the show for the better part of this year. We've seen some absolutely wild moments. And with that, I would ask you why don't we each share our favorite Bloodline moment to close out the show today from, you could call it any time since the Bloodline's inception, right? Up through today. So let me start with you. I'll turn it over to you, give you the honors.
Dude,
what is your favorite Bloodline moment, or two? Have at it. Have fun.
Yeah, I have one that's like both of them were matches, but one that was like more of a moment in the match, and another that was just a full blown match that I think is maybe I don't know how publicly rated it is, so we'll talk about whether it's underrated or overrated. But the first one was the I Quit match between Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. I forget what PLE that was. Was it Crown Jewel? Or Champions? It was I don't know. It was one of those. I can't remember exactly what PLE was. They had their I Quit match, and
I think it was Hell in a Cell. It was an I Quit. With the Universal title on the line, right? Yeah.
Possibly.
That was a Hell in a Cell match with the red cell that I hate.
What I remember from that was a moment where Jimmy was going in to throw in the towel for Jay, but Jay tells him no, and then Jimmy goes in there pleading with Roman, and Roman looks like he's really starting to get sad and feel like we're good. I'm gonna stop. Like I don't want to do this anymore. And then he attacks Jimmy, puts Jimmy in a sleeper hold, forcing Jay to say I quit, to break it, to save his brother. That was a beautiful moment between the brothers, the twins. And it just goes to show you what I've been saying, and we should have seen it all along. And I was so blinded by Roman being as great as he was that I didn't see it. But Roman was just a maniacal psychopath. Doesn't care about anyone but himself. And I think that illuminates that so perfectly. If you go back and see that moment, you'll see it. It's
Yeah,
never been about the family. It's always been about Roman.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
But the reason why I love Roman so much too is because then you go into the matches. And my second one, which I was going to ask if you guys think it's overrated or underrated, I think one of the greatest matches I ever watched in my life was Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. I think it was Montreal. Was it in Montreal? It was in Canada.
Sami Zayn was the fan favorite at that time.
Dude, that match had me at the edge of my seat almost the entire time. I really thought Sammy had a chance, dude. I really was about to
Yeah, it
believe
was
in a
in
miracle.
Montreal. You're absolutely right.
It was an incredible match. If you don't remember that match, I highly implore you to go watch that match again. Cause wow,
Roman
that
dogged Sammy.
was,
I mean, he spit in his face in that match. It was an absolute thrashing.
dude. When he was barking at Khadijah on the side, and he loves Khadijah, so wasn't a big fan of that. But the way he was pleading, he was like, he did this to y'all. He did this. He messed this up. He threw it all. I tried to give you guys everything. It's Roman. Yeah, he's a king. He's a master manipulator, dude. He's a master manipulator. But that match, I'm telling you, it's one of the greatest matches I ever watched in my life. I'd have to put it in a ranking. It's definitely going to be up there in the top 10 greatest matches I've ever seen in my life.
Wow. And the end of that, by the way, was none other than Kevin Owens helping his friend Sami Zayn beat the crap out of the Bloodline. That was an interesting moment. I definitely understand where your background range comes. Contrasting that with my favorite moment of all time, probably my favorite Roman Reigns moment of all time. I'll take you back to Texas, Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, second night of WrestleMania 38.
Go ahead.
2022. Champion versus champion. World Heavyweight title against the WWE Universal title. And Brock Lesnar gets defeated by Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns solidifies himself at the absolute tip top of the mountain, and he unifies the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Universal Championship to become the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. And I think at that moment when he had both of those titles and he started coming out and Paul Heyman started carrying one and he would have one and he would sometimes put both on, you knew that he was all the business. Absolutely. And I felt like that as a Bloodline moment, he led them and told them that we are going in the direction of up. And it was very clear to the Usos that that's where they were going. And hey, it paid off for them, I think, in a big way. I would attribute a lot of Jey Uso's success to Roman Reigns. And I know that that's going to be kind of controversial with you, but that's how I feel about that. I would even give some of the credit of the IC championship run that Jey Uso had to Roman Reigns and the notoriety he was.
Listen, it built... if you ask me at that time, I was 100% Roman. I was all in on that. I just think that now we're seeing the true colors. So you could go back and look at it and you could see it was kind of in our face the whole time and we're just blinded by that. But I agree with that. Roman is the man, dude. He's arguably the greatest wrestler of all time. Maybe behind Gunther. But WrestleMania 38, was it night one? I think it was night one. And night one ended with the Kevin Owens Stone Cold, right? Arlington.
That's correct.
Oh my dude, that WrestleMania was a beautiful mania.
That was a beautiful last match.
That was Austin's last match. That was so that match was amazing, dude. To see Austin in that kind of form at that age and at that time, that long away from wrestling.
Yeah.
Boy, wow.
Yeah, and I think it also gives credence to the fact that when you see Kevin Owens using the stunner, that he can.
It's the only reason he's allowed to. It's the only reason he's allowed to.
Yeah, he could say I beat Austin, like, you know.
Well, he didn't. He lost to Austin. Stone Cold won that match.
I beat him. Like, I beat the crap out of him. Like, I'm a person who beat the crap out of Stone Cold. Like, just like The Rock can use the stunner, you know, because he beat the crap out of Austin before.
Right,
you know?
right.
I think it gives him a little respect.
Right. No, yeah, for sure. That was awesome. That mania. You brought back a core memory there, man. And
good
it's
mania.
part of the reason. It's part of the reason why I think that we're gonna see Kevin Owens beat Randy. Like, I don't think it's a long shot to see him beat Randy. Look at what he did to Stone Cold. Yeah, granted, Stone Cold was a long after, has been long away from wrestling and stuff, but he looked in great form, and Kevin Owens still went the distance there with him. So it's like, to me, bro, like I said, Kevin Owens, that's what really set Kevin Owens off, though. Main eventing that Mania changed who he was, and I'm happy to see him back in that form.
Yeah, me too. And he accepted it impromptu. He just came in. He was just like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Done. You're gone.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Awesome,
absolutely.
man.
Take us home, my man.
Hey, guys, I appreciate every one of you guys for listening. If you guys enjoy the content, you guys can like, follow, subscribe, comment, share, do all the things social media people do. All right, we're available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Go ahead and follow us on all of those platforms. Tamim, any closing words?
Thank you so much for listening. I can't wait to see what happens to the Bloodline. Tune into Crown Jewel this Saturday at 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern.
All right, folks, and as always, for all things WWE, we only trust the WWP. We'll see you next week. Good night.